Hi, I'm Emily Sinatra, and I am the co-founder and primary lyricist and vocalist for the band The Amiimopps.
Hi, my name is Ben Sinatra. I'm one of the founding members of the Amiimopps, and I'm also the producer.
The Amiimopps is the only thing that I know is going to be in my life consistently in the near future in terms of creative outlets and like actual projects that are not just like personal hobbies or anything. I've been writing lyrics and music for over 10 years, and being able to put it out professionally is something that 11-year-old Emily would be amazed by.
We started making music well before we started the Amiimopps. I'd always been interested in multi-track recording as well as just music in general. I think the first song we did was for Emily's literature class in high school, and I was probably in either my freshman or sophomore year of college.
And we wound up writing this song called Say It So. That whole video will never see the light of day on the internet.
Before the pandemic, we had actually started the Amiimopps. I had asked Emily if she had any lyrics that maybe I could write into a song, since I had really been getting into recording and buying a whole bunch of gear.
And then later down the line, Ben approached me when he was in college and I was a senior in high school, and he told me that he'd written a track and asked me to write lyrics for it, and that track wound up becoming our first single, Jaded. We actually made Jaded before we were officially the Amiimopps. We didn't come up with that name until sometime before we released it. There's a whole story about how we came up with our name, but that's irrelevant. So like I said, our first single was Jaded. We wound up recording it in the summer of 2019, and we released it on February 1st of 2020. We also worked on our second single, No Remorse, in December of 2019, and then we released No Remorse in February of 2020. By April of 2020, we had released our first album on April 17th specifically. That album was called Whispers of a Dream, and we made most of it during the pandemic. We went as far as to have a photo shoot for the album so that we could have photos to put in our little album booklet that we made. And we spent a lot of time working on that album booklet, and we talked about going and putting our CDs that we had burned in various like thrift stores and Goodwills. We didn't ever wind up doing that, but we still could because we still have all of those CDs somewhere in the basement. In the summer of 2020, we started working on our second album, Life on Pluto, and the entire album's concept was based around the solar system and making it all the way to Pluto. We released that album in November of 2020. In 2020, we decided to launch our YouTube channel mostly as a place for us to do covers that we could share with the world and hopefully gain some sort of an audience through songs that people already knew. That channel has wound up being mostly shared by older family members and people that they go to church with, which is great, we love that, but we also want to keep working on expanding our audience. In early 2021, I was all the way in New York, and so I didn't have any recording equipment with me. So we couldn't really work on any more covers or recording of original music. So we spent a lot of that time writing, and we wrote until we had the 5 songs for our EP in 2021, Stars on the Ceiling. In the time since Stars on the Ceiling, we've mostly worked on YouTube covers, and we've been building that audience there. We were writing music on the down low until summer of 2023 when we released our single Liminal Space, which was the first single for our upcoming third album that should hopefully be released sometime this year. Also in this time, I started the Amiimopps TikTok as a way to promote our music, but also share my own covers that are a little bit different and gain a different audience than the ones that we put on YouTube do. I also post songs that might eventually become Amiimopps songs, such as some upcoming songs for our next album, such as Smoke and Mirrors and Lost Cause. We started off 2024 by releasing our second single for this album, Nice Guy Facade. I think the song is the best representation for the kind of sound that we want to go for in the next quote-unquote era, especially for this next album. Right now, we are currently working on the third album. We're in the process of writing, recording, and working on singles and talking about music videos, so we'll see where that goes.
Here's some future goals for the band.
In terms of short-term goals, we want to make a cohesive, polished, rock-inspired album.
Emily and I talked about making music videos with a narrative. That might be pretty fun. Oh, I also am going to continue to make lyric videos, which are not fun to make, but I'll do it anyways.
We also want to work on making more promotional short form content for YouTube Shorts, Instagram Reels, and TikToks, anything along those lines. That way we can reach just a younger audience and be able to post more than just the little snippets that I do here on the piano by myself sometimes of our upcoming music.
I'd also like to try out different genres of music as far as songwriting goes. And lastly, I'd like to keep incorporating some reoccurring musicians that we use on our albums. As far as future plans with the band, I'm hoping that we can one day go on tour and play some live gigs because we haven't really done that before.
I would love to someday be able to go on to NPR's Tiny Desk concerts. That's more than a 5-year goal, that's more like a 10-year goal, maybe 20. That would be really cool for the band. In the meantime, we appreciate all of your support and engagement with our materials. It really means a lot to us that any of you care enough to even appreciate our music or just want to support us. So we love y'all. Thank you for everything that you do for us. We will continue to make music that hopefully you'll like in return.